All right, teammates, we are back once again. If this is your first time listening to the Move Swiftly podcast, welcome to the show. Welcome to the #1 show on innovative teamwork. Great to have you. To my regular listeners, here we go again. Here we go again. Here we go again. Shout out to Podmatch for making these great connections happen. It's taken all the logistics, all the nonsense out of getting people on the show, and it just allows me to do what it is I do best. Today, I have a Ben Camille, who is the founder of Travel Defend. And the one thing about him and the main one of the main things that you got to take away from his story, especially as a business owner, is that he figured out a way to become his only competition. He worked towards it. He served people in a way in which, or he figured out a way in which he cornered a market and said, this is the only thing I do, and this is the only place you're going to find a person that does what I do. And there's so many lessons, so many things that need to be taken away from that, because we're in this world where everyone wants to call themselves an entrepreneur, everyone wants to call themselves this, and it's important that you know exactly how you fit in. So with all that, Ben, welcome to the show.
Thanks so much for having me, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, so let's get this thing started, man, because you, like me, have a background in sports, and it's always great to see guys who played college athletics, move on to especially develop in the sales world, because I know how much attention the sport gives you, especially if you're going to play at the collegiate level. So kind of go back a little bit, talk a little bit about your background, and then we'll get into, some of the business and some of the things you're doing now.
Yeah, sure. So growing up, I grew up in Canada, and many people may not realize, but baseball in Canada is actually really big. I played for regional teams. I played a couple summers for the national team. And Canada has some amazing baseball players, honestly. Even in the major leagues now, there's quite a few. And coming out of high school, I was one of the best pitchers in the country, in Canada at least. I was throwing, 93 miles an hour coming out of, high school. And really, baseball was my world. I never really thought about career. I never really thought about a job. Not necessarily that I think I was going to make the major leagues. I didn't know, honestly, but it was just something that I was so focused on baseball. Like I never thought about it. And then after my career was over and I realized like I was very good, but like to make the major leagues, you have to be almost like superhuman, superhero level. I was not that good to that level. And I knew that. And I remember meeting with one of my friends, good friend of mine. We grew up together. And he was always into business, like growing up, we were into like sports and stats and like, oh, who hit the most home runs? He was always into business. And so he knew about Sam Walton, from Walmart. And I was like, Sam Walton? I was, what the hell are you talking about? I never heard of any of this stuff. And I didn't even know that there was a world of people that were looking at business as like a fun thing. I just didn't even know that existed.
Yeah.
And he said to me at the time, I mean, this is over 20 years ago. I'm 43 now. So I don't know. I was 20 years old, 21, whatever it was.
Right.
And he said, okay, man, here's the plan for you. We need to figure out a way for you to make 30 grand. And I was like, 30 grand. Okay. Like that's where my mind was at the time. I was like, okay, how do I make 30 grand?
After you were through playing baseball?
Yeah, this is when my college career was over. And really, it was very abrupt. Like it ended. And I was like, what do I do now? Like it's so odd to look back, but I had no one in my life. My family doesn't come from money or anything like that. Right. My father passed away when I was 3. Right. Yeah. So my mom was an optician. She never made, we didn't know money or anything like that. And it wasn't like anyone would sit me down, even going up and say, okay, like, what's your plan? That didn't exist in my world. So it was really just kind of like, okay, and it was very abrupt, like figure things out now.
And then if I'm not mistaken, they're 3, correct?
Well, don't do me like that. There's a D3 campus and there's a D1 campus.
Yeah, there's
so D1 is in Teaneck.
Somebody, right.
Right. I was in the D1. I'm not going to let you. Yeah, that's my only claim to play.
And the reason I asked that because I did an NIL deal with someone, a basketball player that went to the school, and he went to D3 school. And there was a D1 that I looked at. So yeah, you were the D1.
Right. They had the D3 and the D1. So I appreciate the question, but I'm not going to let you do me like that.
There we go. Yeah. You can tell you was an athlete. I love the competitive nature, man. I love it. I'm here.
What was crazy? Remember the ABCD camp? Do they still have that? You remember that?
I remember that.
Bro, that was at FDU. That was at their campus.
No good.
I remember going.
Like Sonny Vaccaro and all them? Sonny Vaccaro?
Yeah.
Really?
Yes, wow. Bro. I remember because I was an athlete. They let me in to this whole ABCD thing.
Yeah.
And I remember, what year was it? Like I was there in my first year. I was in 99,
Mm-hmm.
2000. Like I remember seeing like Kevin Garnett and all
Yeah.
these guys were there. And I was like, wow, have you ever seen real basketball players? Like
Oh man, yeah,
everyone's like a
you just
horse.
named one. He went straight to the league, so he was one of them cats that they skipped the whole college thing. So imagine,
Right. But he
yeah,
went to the
right.
ABCD and he
He
went
went,
to
yeah,
all that
right,
stuff. And I just remember all those guys. Like I even think Jerry Stackhouse I don't remember. I met all these guys.
yeah,
Anyway, that was like a whole cool, we can do a whole podcast just on that.
we
But
can,
like whatever, we're talking about
right,
business. So basically he was just like, let's figure something out for you. If you can make 30 grand doing something, you don't need a job. That was like my whole mindset at the time.
right,
Because I never wanted to work for anyone else in an ideal way. I tried for a couple of years. I really couldn't figure out what to do. I was maybe looking for a job in marketing, advertise. I don't know. I didn't know what I wanted to do.
mm-hmm.
And I started working just on a seasonal basis down in Florida at a
Oh,
tour
okay,
company,
I
like
heard
a
about
luxury tour. Yeah, like in Fort Lauderdale, stuff like that.
that. Mm-hmm.
And it was more seasonal. It was like they ran a few big events a year and all this kind of stuff. And just from going there, I was like, you know what? I love tours. I love luxury. I love like that whole vibe. I always love the airport. I was always like attracted to like the airport. It's like, let's go hang in the airport. Like it just seems like there's always action going on.
Yeah,
And basically I saw that, you know what, they were running it, but I felt that I could run it better than them. That was my ego, whatever.
right,
And so I decided to start a similar company, but in a different geographic location, basically in, Canada and in California, whatever. I'm not going to go so deep into that business,
right,
but the first year we got killed. After that, I really learned what was necessary. People thought that I was doing this for my school project when I first started. I'm like going to hotels. I'm like, yeah, I'm giving you $250,000 for my school project. Like I was so young at the time. And I remember that was in the days where you could get a loan from a bank. So I was living in my sister's basement. Okay. I had nothing. And I think a bank gave me maybe 60 grand or something like that. And I was like, holy crap. I'm like, they just gave me money. I couldn't
right,
believe it. And I
right,
lost all of it. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. And I took a job for like 6 months just to build up again.
yeah,
Anyway, to make a long story short, I ran luxury tours for almost 20 years. We built it to a point, me and my business partner, friend of mine, we grew up together, where it was quite successful. We were bringing in quite a lot of money and it was really working well. And then COVID came and really it just wiped us out. I mean, it wasn't like in Florida where, things were opening up. I mean, the main event was in California. They shut us down for 3 years. Okay. So really that was a very tough time.
right,
I have a wife, kids, all my savings were just decimated. All the skills that I had just weren't applicable in this world.
yeah,
Coming out of COVID, I realized no one was going to book my tours without travel insurance because these were luxury. I mean, we're talking like families would come spending $100,000, $200,000, $300,000 for an event. Okay. This was super luxury.
yeah,
And they were all too nervous. And I said, you know what, if I don't figure this out and I don't make money now, like I'm already in big trouble. I'm in like real serious big trouble.
right,
And so I just dedicated so much of my efforts to figure out. I was a type of operator. I wasn't like, just go buy whatever, buy Allianz, AIG, and just, come. That's not my vibe. I wanted to know in real life, like who actually pays these bills? How does is it just a black box? Like no one knows, are there companies that are better than other companies? What are the differences in all the policies in America? And which is really weird. I look at it like just from God, really.
mm-hmm.
But like, why would I become obsessed with travel insurance? It's the oddest thing. Like, who cares?
Mm-hmm.
I got obsessed with it to a level where I started understanding my brain worked so well for it. I started going to all the industry events. I made friends with CEOs of these companies. I made friends with head of the claims department, which is the people who pay these bills.
Right.
And then I went, even though I was running my event, I started selling all my clients travel insurance. And then I started going to all the other tour companies in my niche. I said, look, you guys are in the same boat. You have thousands of clients. You know nothing. Nobody in America has any clue what they're buying.
Right.
Send them to us. They start a company called Travel Defend. We will help them. We're a concierge service. We will do the paperwork for them. We will guide them what's good for them. Most importantly, what we've built it up to now, because then I stopped doing tours and I got into this because it's a far better business.
Right.
We have hundreds of tour operators, travel agents that send all their people exclusively to us. We have thousands and thousands of clients. We bring millions of dollars to these insurance companies. I have tremendous power. I have my own dedicated claims analyst at these companies, and we add zero cost. We don't add a penny to the cost. So the point is, how is someone, this is my last thing about this, and then we'll go on to any questions you want.
Yeah.
But how are people buying travel insurance in America? Okay. They go to either a big company website like Allianz or AIG. There's one or two options there. Do these people have any clue what they're buying? No, nobody does. They don't understand the clauses. They don't know what they're actually buying. Or there's an Expedia type site that has 1,000 options, which again, still no one knows. More important than even what you buy, what do you do in real life when you have a problem? Who are you? You're a faceless nothing. You are absolutely nothing to these companies. You're one of a billion people. Allianz, the biggest one in America, did 1.3 billion in sales last year. So who are you, right? Because we bring tremendous volume to the table, tremendous power, we help you and we add zero cost. And the only brokerage, when we call ourselves a travel insurance brokerage, this doesn't exist in America. We're the only ones. And so my claim is, if all the $10 billion spent in America knew about us, then of course they would all use us. There's no downside to using us. Right. And so that's the basic idea. When I found that niche and when I understood the industry more and more, and I started without knowing what I was doing, I start to see, you know what, there's a massive opportunity here. We've never spent, and this is going to change, but we've never spent $1 in marketing, and we've brought in millions of dollars, which is unheard of. Yeah. That's the basic idea.
Yeah, that's an incredible, absolutely incredible story, because you could actually use me as an example. I've started going on cruises every single year for my birthday in January, and not once do I get the insurance. Nice. Now, granted, I'm a single man. Hopefully that changes for this year's cruise, but the idea of actually doing it, it does worry me, because you're right. When you go on cruises, when you go on these experiences, and it's something that you should have, but I don't want to brush over something that you said in terms of finding passion, because when you were lost, you said you were in Fort Lauderdale and you saw something that fascinated you about just the idea of doing luxury tours. Can you dive a little deeper into what exactly you enjoyed about that? Because again, as former athletes, that passion, we bring that passion to the table. If there's anything that we have in common, it's the passion. And when you find that thing in that working world, it's a completely different ballgame. You'll live out of a basement. You'll live out of a car. You'll go try. You'll do whatever it is you got to do. Yeah. Where you'll take that same passion that you have for the game and apply it to whatever that niche is. So speak to us a little bit about when you really started to tap into those tours.
Yeah, you know what I'm really passionate about is success. Being successful or winning. If we're on a winning team, I don't care what game we're playing. Me and you, we go out, we're like, okay, we're going to the ping pong championships of America. Now, I don't care about ping pong, but if me and you are freaking incredible at ping pong and we're going to just destroy everyone, I'm into that. Okay. Yeah. So yes, tours are fun because everyone's on vacation. It's a good time. There's food everywhere. There's nightly events. It's a fun experience. It's not like you're being at home bored. But I may be more passionate about travel insurance because the business is so fun, because it's fun to succeed. It's fun to have something special that really resonates with the people. So it could be, let's say you have a guy who's an entrepreneur. Let's say he comes up with something about windows, okay, window repair. That could become very exciting, right? Yeah. So there's nothing inherently that's unexciting, in my opinion. It's exciting to succeed, and it's exciting to have something special. Like, I know people who do air conditioning in Florida. They have air conditioning companies in Florida. You would know. Yeah, I know. They kill, bro. They kill. And you know how passionate they are about it? They love it. They love it. Yeah. And so to me, yes, tours are fun. And that's probably why I started with it. But I got passionate about it because I was succeeding with it. And that's where the real passion comes from.
Right. That feeling of winning, it's so very important, especially when it's something that you're actually putting in your own head. And the feeling of winning, I can't overstate it. It's incredible. Winning games is incredible. Winning in anything, just getting that check and being knowing that you're good at something is absolutely incredible. So let's dive in a little bit to when you built the company, when you decided, all right, Travel Defend is where I'm going to plant my flag. This is how I'm going to do it. When it comes to the relationships that you had to build, did you have to build relationships with other insurance companies? You had to, educate yourself. You had to do your homework. How was that process? What was that issue? I mean, where were some of the challenges, the pitfalls, the successes? Walk us through a little bit about that.
Right. I mean, going in, you have to have a plan, right? Why are you meeting everyone? I was meeting everyone because I wanted to bring power to the table. I wanted
Now,
to say, you know what?
were you
Yeah.
meeting, just so we're clear up, were you meeting like specific agents, or were you going directly to company like owners, firms?
No, I was going to the companies.
Okay.
I
Okay.
was going to industry events. I found contacts. I
Ah,
was looking to speak to the
grinding, guys. Just
highest level
grinding out here. Let's
person.
go.
Yeah. First of all, there are no agents in travel insurance. That doesn't exist,
And
right?
then,
You're used to life insurance, health insurance,
yeah,
auto insurance,
yeah,
where there's a million schmucks running around after the same pennies,
yeah.
right? F that, man. I'm not looking for that.
You get,
I'm
by the way,
looking to
you're
be
allowed to curse on
special.
YouTube, so.
Okay. I'm looking to be special. I'm
Right.
looking to be something that doesn't exist. Again, if this wasn't special, I wouldn't be doing it. I'm not stupid, right? Like sometimes I meet with people, we meet with tour operators, travel agents, and they're like, oh, I was nervous to take your meeting. I didn't understand what this was. I thought it was, and I was like, they don't know me, but I was like, if this was stupid, you think I'd be wasting my life doing this? No,
Mhm.
I'm doing it because it's an incredible opportunity. If you're out there doing insurance, but you're going to be one of a million,
Hmm.
no, you need a
Wow.
differentiator. You need to come up with something about why are you special. If I'm going to say to you, why should I buy my life insurance with you as opposed to anyone else in the world? And you don't have a real concrete answer, then, oh, like I'm going to try hard for you. That's all crap. I mean, that's nothing.
Mhm.
You need a discernible competitive advantage. If you
Okay.
don't have it, move on to find something that you do have it with, because that's the only way to hit it in real success. Any
Mhm.
company you look at that's successful, they have that advantage. Okay. You
Right.
could say, well, you own a hot dog stand outside of Yankee Stadium. Maybe that's a tremendous advantage.
No,
Right
hey,
after the game ends, you got 50,000 people coming through here. But
right.
there has to be some advantage. And so that's what I
Hmm.
needed for my people. I said, I need an advantage.
Mhm.
There's a two-pronged advantage. There's me coming in with thousands of clients,
Right.
but that ends if I'm just going to be a faceless nothing, right? So I got invited. I pushed my way in. I got invited to black tie events,
Okay.
and I would put on a fancy suit, and I would meet with every CEO. They put me at the table at one of these events in Manhattan, the Museum of Natural History. It was one of these award ceremonies, which is
Yeah.
all bullshit anyway. It's just an award where everyone, basically gives each other, a slap on the back, whatever. It's nonsense. But they put me at the table with all the CEOs of Allianz and AIG. I was hanging with these dudes.
Oh
And these
man.
guys are billion-dollar company
Yeah.
CEOs,
Yeah.
and me. And me.
Right.
And then one lady I'm sitting next to, I'm like, what are you doing at this table? And she's like, oh, I'm the special assistant to the CEO. But it was just me and all these CEOs. And I was like, yeah. And now I got all their information. I can call any of these guys. I have their
Right.
personal cell phone numbers. They know me by name.
Yeah.
If you're my client, God forbid, not you, we'll say person X, which by the
Mhm.
way, happens quite often here. Break a leg in Spain. Someone had a stroke, needs to be medically evacuated. I have the personal cell phone number of the emergency assist company. You call yourself, even in an emergency, and there's some Filipino guy going, hello, who are you?
Exactly. Yeah.
No. We have a WhatsApp for our company that's monitored 24 hours a day. You come through here, okay? We could get you to this guy. Name is Mike Meeks. He's the CEO of the Robin Assist emergency services company. He
Mhm.
saved some of our clients. He saved their life, legit.
Mhm.
We had a guy in 3 weeks ago in the Caribbean who had a stroke. I mean, he was 81 years old. His wife called here frantically, and I got this guy involved. If I tell you within 30 seconds what he did,
Mhm.
it was impossible. And so,
Mhm.
like, we're really helping people. I'm passionate about that, and I look to influence for my clients in a tremendous way. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, and you're bringing up the subject, and I'm glad you brought this up because during COVID, you could have folded your tent, right? It could have been like, look, I'm gonna go figure out a way to get a regular job. It could have gotten really
Yeah.
bad. But there was a personal dedication, a personal feeling that you had towards your clients and making sure your clients were straight that led you
Yeah.
that allowed you to work hard. And I want to make sure I make this point for the listeners is there's a difference between a customer and a client. All right, customer is me. I'm at a Whole Foods right now. Me going to Whole Foods buying one of these and never
Right.
seeing the cashier again. A client is the person that's at Amazon, Jeff Bezos, planting his flag in Whole Foods, making it so, people
Right.
want to go and buy something from Amazon, they can pick it up at Whole Foods and they pick it up in less days and all that stuff. So please
Right.
speak a little bit on some of the clients some of the things that you've done for them, any stories that you want to tell in terms of when they were going through COVID and then how you were able to help them with the travel insurance. I'll kind of give you
Right.
to speak on that a little bit.
Sure. If I could talk about that client point, because I love that point.
Yeah.
What makes a client also is the stickiness, the sticky
Yeah.
nature, right? If Whole Foods, yeah, maybe they'll see you, maybe they won't.
Right.
But you want to be in a vehicle, ideally. Like, that's why I know people that are in the mattress business. I'm like, is that really a good business? Like, someone buys them. When was the last time you switched your mattress out? Like 10 years, 20
Right.
years, if that? I said, is that really a good business? I don't know. And I don't know. I have no idea. But
Right.
to me, I like the fact that listen, recurring is obviously king. Okay. That's the best. I don't have that. I have close though, because most of our clients are traveling multiple times a year. Every time they travel, they will use us. Do they have any loyalty to?
So it's high
Oh,
ticket in
yeah.
a sense.
Oh, yeah. Many of our policies are many thousands of dollars.
Exactly.
But yeah, but again, we'll help anyone. I mean, your policy probably best $100. We'll help you too. But the point is, yeah, in terms of who we're going after, it's the luxury market. But having a sticky business is important. One thing that I'll say about COVID, which I think is very interesting, I was destroyed mentally. Okay. And I was really destroyed by what happened. And it was such a blow.
Right.
That there were many opportunities, because many friends that I have at the time were very successful during COVID. Okay. And like, for example, one thing that I don't know if you did it, if our eyes were open, we could have done it. We could have started these COVID clinics. Okay. These testing clinics. A bunch of my friends, they got some open storefront. They hired some nurse for like, whatever, $40 an hour, gave her a bunch of these rapid tests. Bro, they had lines down $120 a pop. And they were just going ching, ching, ching all. Yeah. Well, maybe not in Florida. It wasn't as crazy. In California, oh my God. Yeah. Now, this was an opportunity available to anyone, but we didn't see it. Why did I not see it? Because that's my type to jump on something like that. Why did I not see it? Because again, I wasn't looking, right? And so the analogy I give, which you may have heard before, but I still find it very important. If I said to you yesterday, okay, Aswan, come to me, tell me how many red cars you saw yesterday, right? You probably don't really know. If I would have said, I'll give you $1,000 for every car that's red that you see, you'll know exactly how many cars, right? Exactly. And not only do you going to know, you're going to run through the parking lot looking for more. Okay. Right. Our eyes need to be open to opportunity. And I'm not saying this to pat myself on the back. Every tour operator in America was in the same position as me coming out of COVID. How many of them saw this opportunity and jumped into, which is actually a far better opportunity than tours? Nobody except me. I'm the only one that saw this. Nobody else saw it. And I don't say it because like, oh, I'm some genius. I just say like, you got to keep your eyes open, right? Last thing before you take over. People identify themselves, right? As who are you? I'm a tour operator. That's a terrible thing to say. That means that you don't see any other opportunity because you're a tour operator. That's how you classify yourself, which means that if an opportunity comes up to open a COVID clinic, you don't see that because you're a tour operator. That's not a tour, right? You need to be an entrepreneur. That has to be your mindset. And I'm not a fan of multitasking 100 things. However, at certain times, if something comes up, take at it,
Yeah. Well, like you said, I am in Florida and I was actually in Plantation area when COVID happened. I was working at a gym. I was a trainer at a gym and we got hit just as bad. The industry got hit just as bad. That she's no longer in business. There was one client, she worked in cruise ships and she, like you, again, a lot of things just had to go, just went dead. Just went dead. So the point that you're making, I do love that analogy about the red cars, because now even I'm looking at like 3 different red cars, 4 or 5, because now you got me mentally like, all right, cool. But yes, when you focus on something, when you decide you're going to focus on it, then it starts to become real. And the question I do, and I'll close you out, so I want to be respectful of your time, is can you kind of just educate people on what's next, what's the need, like how they can get in touch with you and your platform, the way you're able to make things a little bit different just for our listeners out there?
Sure. I mean, just reach out to us, traveldefend.com. which by the way is a whole story in itself. You hear a website like that, sounds like
But
it would be a pretty penny.
it's more like a when you guys go on it, you'll see it's more of a platform than a self-promotion website. I don't even think it has your name on it. It's like
No, it's
yeah,
not direct. Yeah, it's not like for me. It's not
right.
glorification of myself.
Exactly.
It's our company.
Exactly.
Um, we have something online where you can buy a policy online if you want to. We created AI that will find you the best one or two options for you, or you can call. Most people do call because we have a whole team, concierge team, and we're all remote. I was thinking originally to have everyone in house, and I realized how much better this remote stuff is actually. So I have people in Florida, I got people in New York, I have people in Tennessee, people in California. And with all the software that you have now, it's unbelievable. I mean, you can monitor everyone perfectly. And so, yeah, you can give us a call. We'll help you out, make sure you're protected. Even if you're someone like yourself,
Yeah, that's
right?
what I was going to ask you. So if let's say I booked my cruise for January next month, do I contact you guys to get the trip? Like I don't take the insurance that they offer.
The
But
cruise
right,
ships, I don't know why. I'm not saying this to get your 10
right,
cents. I'm being honest with you. The cruise ship policies suck. I don't know why. They all create their own policy, like a custom
yeah,
policy.
that's what I
And they're
noticed.
all terrible policies that they create. They're very low medical coverage. It's all secondary coverage, not primary. I mean, I do a lot of podcasts with travel experts, and I haven't gotten into that with you, but I'm probably America's foremost travel insurance expert at this point. I know everything. I know more than the CEOs of these companies about
Right.
travel insurance. So, point is, for you, if you're a young guy and it's not an expensive trip, you're not looking to protect, $10,000 worth of cost just for medical. What is it? $100? Maybe nothing. It's
Right.
dangerous to go without medical. Get that. Our team will take care of you, and
No,
that's it. Easy.
right. Now that's for somebody like me, but now if you're talking about someone that has a family, they want to go on vacation with their family and things like that, do they just contact Travel Defend and go from there? Do they
Sure.
book first and then contact you?
Yeah, you can buy on our website, or you can just give us a call. We'll help you out.
Okay.
Typically, what the expensive ones in travel insurance are really older people with very expensive trips.
Yeah.
Like, for example, we just did a policy. I just did one today.
Hmm.
Let's see, two people, right? Probably, I have to look it up, but in their 60s, mid
Hmm.
60s, $67,000 trip. Okay, going to South Africa, Zimbabwe, Botswana,
Hmm.
and their travel insurance was $6,000, right?
Hmm.
Because it's a function of your age and your trip cost, meaning that in that case, that's like 8 or 9% of their trip cost, which is fine. Anything under 10% for an older person, it's fine.
Hmm.
But that's where the money is in travel insurance. I mean, that's where you really can rack, serious policies. Like we did one recently for two other couples. It was 90 grand each was their trip.
Hmm.
I mean, they spent 20 grand in travel insurance. I mean, 20 grand, so that's where, those policies come in. They don't take more than a few minutes, and it's real cash. And
Yeah.
so that's where we market, but we'll help anyone who comes through our door, whether
Right.
it's $100, $10,000. We give the same passion for
Right. And
everyone.
you're growing, and that's like, is it something like what can you talk about? What's next? Where do you see the company going? What's sort of the next move?
Well, right now we have partnerships with hundreds of tour operators, travel agents.
Hmm.
The next thing for us, which I haven't done yet, but I'm actually starting legit probably this week, which is
Right.
a long time in coming, is going after the end users, like going after in terms of a Facebook ads, Google ads. This is a very expensive game,
Yeah.
but there's no message that exists out there. Like, let's say it's travel insurance, right?
Hmm.
Allianz, AIG, I've seen their ads. Well, here's their ad. It's a woman standing with a dog next to a lake. That's their ad. That's it. That's the ad. It says protect, whatever. It's all crap.
Yeah.
Nobody has a message. What is Allianz going to say? We're better than the other guy. Everyone says they're better.
Right.
I have a real message. I'm the only one that has a real message.
Hmm.
And so the fact is, if I can go out there and grab end users, even if I can just break even on it, which I think I can do better, but if I can break even on it, I'm fantastically happy. That could create a snowball, an
Hmm.
unbelievable snowball. Like my goal is to start spending hundreds of thousands of dollars a month just on Facebook and Google ads and Reddit. A lot of people Reddit message boards about travel insurance, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I've never gone after the end user until now.
Right.
But I think that's my next step. I am still all the time we get more feeders and more partnership,
Right.
but I feel like that could be a way to really blow things up really fast.
You're right. The thing is, it's necessary because again, you're exposing people to something that they really don't think about. Like myself, again, they're not thinking about it until they have those responsibilities, until they start
Well, I
trying.
wouldn't go after you. You're not my target
Yeah, you
market.
want to be right. The thing is, it's not only that, but it's the thinking about it. And that's another thing. One of the things about this show is I really do want to make sure people understand, especially business owners, these things exist. There's opportunities, and then there's just ways that you got to protect yourself. And the opportunity, I have a business coach as well, and he always says the opportunity is actually in the opposites. It's in the opposites. It's in the actual doing something that you really didn't think of. So,
Yeah, sure.
Ben, the way I close out all the shows is I want you to use your imagination a little bit. It is 2020. You just get the news that the coronavirus is shutting us down. You're losing money, you're losing everything. You're just struggling. Pretend that version of Ben has come into the Zoom room. Give him some words of encouragement, and we'll officially close.
Well, I was in the darkest place of anyone I know. Everyone I know actually did well during COVID. I didn't. I struggled very badly. I was in a very dark place. Me and my wife would go for walks every night for hours, just walking around, talking, just being like, what are we going to do? And I prayed at that time, not like super religious or anything, but I prayed at that time that something would come out of it that would help me to the next stage. And so often in life, and I'm mature enough to know this, there are many blessings in disguise that really do come. Like if you meet someone who had cancer, let's say, and you talk to them, many of them, can't speak for everyone, but many of them will tell you that it changed your life for the better. Once they get over it, obviously. And so I was mature enough to know that that's possible. And I was hoping that that was going to happen. And it really did happen for me. And I'm really, thank God it did. But that's the encouragement when it's dark and it seems dark. It's many times it's a blessing in disguise. You look back at your own life, it really is like that so many times. So, just try and keep the faith. More importantly, be smart. Find a differentiator. So many people, there's no smarts there. It's just running, because they don't actually think. They just like to take this thing and just go ding, 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 ding all day. And they shut down their brain and they watch stupid Netflix crap all day. I don't watch anything. I read books. I work out. Me and you got to go work out. If I come down to Florida, I'm going to come work out with you.
Yeah, man.
I'm a big worker outer.
To 10Ks and half marathons. I'm training for a marathon now, so whenever you're ready,
Nice.
I'll be here.
Okay, beautiful, bro. So that's what it's about. Just get out of that brainless stuff that goes on. Figure it out.
And wasting time. It's darkest before the dawn. I second that. Again, COVID was an incredibly dark time for myself as well in the fitness industry. I've had incredible downs, a lot more lows than highs. So it's important that you take every single day just as seriously and know that it is possible. And that's for you listeners. You guys have tuned in, especially for the regular ones. You guys have tuned in every single day. And this is the message that I continue to reinforce for you on this show. That was for you. That was for anyone that's really going through things. All right. So all that being said, fellow teammates, continue to move swiftly. We will talk more soon.